I said, girl, why you keep calling? I said, girl, why you keep calling? Yeah, she said I need a new whip. Yeah, cause I know that you're still ballin'. She just wanna go back to the future, so I brought that color DeLorean.
Hey guys, it's Comic Wrath here, and I got some Absolver gameplay over my first week and few days of playing. After hitting about Combat Trials rank 400, I've enjoyed a lot of success in my 1v1s, and today I'll be covering a few points for what I believe makes a viable deck after playing the game for about a week and a half. So first point is mix-ups and unpredictability. Mix-ups are an immensely important concept in every fighting game I've had experience with, and the more you're making your opponent think, the more likely you can get an opportunity to punish their mistakes. Such, having high and low options and horizontal thrust or vertical alternatives in the combo string is essential for making your opponent think about their next move. Most decks I've lost to since I've gotten more experience under my belt have a variety of options for their next attack. The mix-up will change direction, change movement type, anticipate a certain counterattack to keep up pressure and avoid interruption, change the flow of their combo, or change the target location hit. A deck full of fast loops may frustrate a new player, but the players with experience know how to block and will start using their class ability after they assess the string. So, you want your combos to require your opponent to think, and you don't want your combos to be stuck in being useful for only one scenario. So for example, jumping out elbow is common for breaking guard, but you can only get it to in one scenario. So let's say you have a jab punch and then you mix up to go into that elbow. If that's the only place you can get that, then you've pretty much given up your chance of getting the guard break on your opponent for the most part. And this is why mix-ups are important, because they should allow you to weave in and out of specific moves to pressure your opponent as they see fit. And that's why it's a common concept in many of the decks that you see online and in these schools, is placing your guard breaks in alternative slots so you can access it from different points in your standard attack sequences. So next is having a variety of startup attacks. So if most of your attacks start from the same direction, have the same movement type, or target the same body part, it becomes very easy for your opponent to adapt to your deck. And as such, having a variety of openers makes your deck harder to read and makes you less susceptible to punishes. So the standard I try to go for is something like having a high avoid, a low avoid, a vertical attack, a quick thrust, a thrust/vert avoid, and a quick horizontal. And so for concrete examples, I'll use a jab punch, a jumping light kick, a stretch out hook, a chin palm, surging palm, and back trip kick. And with openers such as these in my standard attack sequences and in my alternatives, I'm not trapping myself into only being able to respond to my opponent's pressure or begin my pressure in a one-dimensional manner. I have a lot of options. So the next point is using your feints wisely. And so to me, using your feints is pretty much a way to bait out your opponent's class ability and continue your own pressure. So another bonus is that they push you into the next stance of the string, which can change up the appearance of your mix-ups. And so I wouldn't recommend using feints if the opponent always attacks during opening in your string. Alternatively, if your opponent begins reading a specific string and throws out their class ability at the same point in that string, then you should try to feint that move and punish them to force them back into thinking about what they're doing. And so an example of that is, say that as a Forsaken, say you keep using a jab punch, hook, curl, uppercut, and if I keep parrying your uppercut, well, eventually if you learn to feint it, then I will be left open for a bit of time because I will miss that parry. And so that will make me go back into reconsidering whether or not I want to throw out that parry anymore. So the next point I have is experimentation. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of YouTube videos with decks for you to copy, and there are plenty of schools as well. But if you don't synergize with the playstyle, then you will continuously get clapped, at least until you practice more. But there also isn't a meta deck that I know of, but there are definitely meta moves, and I know there's a tier list that I have personally that I shared in a Facebook group for PS4 that has explanations to the strengths and weaknesses of many moves. But regardless of that tier list, like despite a move being lower tier, if it fits your deck and your playstyle and you understand those weaknesses, then go ahead and use it, because your deck should be designed to cover those holes through the usage of your shards, your mix-ups, and just having good decision making, since this is a fighting game at its core. And finally, pressure strings make a really good deck, and pressure strings are vital to maintaining the offensive turn versus your opponent. They're a combination of the previous points I've made, and if you follow this advice and then your own homework with how you want to force your opponent into making bad decisions, then your pressure strings will do something out of this list. They will drain their stamina more than yours, force them to turtle, which means they aren't responding to the openings in your deck, punish bad decisions, and they will net you a win at some point. And so those are all the points that I believe to make a good combat deck. And in the beginning, recall that I said viable. And so, in other words, none of these things, as far as having a meta deck, and even if you take these points and try to copy somebody else's deck, it will not guarantee you a win, because there are a lot of ways to play Absolver, and as long as you have the skill and the game knowledge to match what you're going for, you can beat just about anybody. I've seen people win with kick only decks. I've seen people win with just punching. I've seen people win with slow decks. It's really just about the skill and the knowledge of your matchup and the opponent you're fighting. And so patience and humility go an extremely long way for speeding up the process of getting good at these types of games, because everybody will get clapped at some point and humbled by at least one player. But yeah, that's pretty much it for these points, at least for the first version. I may come up with more later and make another video, but you know, it's up in the air for discussion what y'all also think about what makes a good combat deck. And if you did enjoy this video, if you learned something, or you just fuck with the channel or whatever, then give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And with that being said, I'll leave a couple more fights, or at least let this one finish out and put some music in the background, and I hope y'all enjoy. Comic Wrath out.